Maverick News presents The Rick Walker Show. Defrag your mind.
Whoa, I did it again. I've been doing this as much as I used to. Sorry about the logo on the face. Hello everybody, welcome back. Truly appreciate you guys coming back here tonight. Great to have everyone here. You're watching the Maverick News channel. And we have news to share today. Some of it pretty horrific. A soldier set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in Washington. Nikki Haley is hanging in there, even though it's pretty clear she does not have a path to victory, or at least it doesn't appear that she has one. But maybe she knows something we don't. Alexei Navalny, his cause of death has been revealed. Benjamin Netanyahu, determined to go into Rafah, and telling CBS News Today in an interview that if October 7th had happened to the United States, the U.S. would have done, quote, a hell of a lot more than Israel is doing right now in Gaza. Speaking of a lot more, major protests in Tel Aviv. We'll see if we can get some video of that for you. That cyber attack against the RCMP police in Canada now getting cross-border attention. Mounting concern around cybersecurity, state secrets, possible leaks of information. We also have 16 people charged, 18 people arrested in a major operation conducted by police in Quebec, targeting organized crime. So we have all that and more coming up right here on the Maverick News channel. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Fighting the Great Reset by leading the Great Resistance. Maverick News. The antivirus programs for your mind. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay. So let's start with Benjamin Netanyahu, because I know that will be something that people are very, very tuned into. So he was appearing today on CBS Face the Nation. And he says that if the United States had been hit by what he says is a terrorism attack, theoretically, similar to something that had happened, like what we saw happen on October 7th to Israel, he says the United States would be doing a hell of a lot more. Now, what we're going to do here is just pull up a little bit of the interview here just to give you a brief clip about what he is saying. He's also saying that if Israel does go into Rafah, and it looks like he is determined to do that, the war would be over in a matter of weeks. Of course, protests continuing all over the world, calling for a ceasefire, mounting pressure to have Netanyahu removed from office. How that might happen, well, one can speculate, but it's pretty clear that he is declining in popularity. Let's just go to the clip here on CBS.
The interest of both countries. I don't think it's in any danger.
You said that victory is within reach, but U.S. intel says the IDF has only destroyed 30% of Hamas leadership, and that the amount of tunnels that Hamas uses have really only been tiny in terms of what has been destroyed by the IDF. There is growing distrust of you personally, sir. You know this, in the U.S. Congress and within the Biden White House. When your closest ally is telling you things like this and telling you that you need to reconsider a strategy, isn't it worth considering?
Look, I think that the U.S. agrees with us on the goal of destroying Hamas.
Yes.
And on the goal of releasing the hostages. The decisions of how to do that are left with us and with me and the elected cabinet of Israel. And we're doing a lot of things that we were told by the best of friends initially turned out not to be true. They said you can't enter the ground war without having enormous complications. They said you cannot fight, you can't enter Gaza City, you can't go into the tunnels, it'll be a terrible bloodbath. All of that turned out to be not true. Our soldiers are in the tunnel network. We don't have to take apart hundreds of kilometers of tunnels. We are taking apart the missile production factories that are underground, the command and control headquarters, the computers that are there, the money that is there, the weapons that are there, and the ammo that is there. We're doing that methodically. So we're doing the war. You can't substitute for the Israeli military command, and we're doing it very responsibly. John Spencer, who's the head of urban warfare at West Point, says that no other army has gone to the lengths that Israel's army has gone to clear civilians out of harm's way, even though Hamas is doing everything to keep them in harm's way.
Oh, sure, but the former head of Central Command was on this program just a few weeks ago and said basically you have not articulated any specific end game here. So, but putting that aside, I want to come back to a few different things you said.
Wait a minute, Margaret, hold on. You lob these grenades at me and you keep on moving. Well, first of all, you say there's no confidence in me. Well, the Israeli public has confidence in me. Last week,
there were massive protests throughout Israel yesterday.
Of course we have protests. We have protests. Israel is a democracy. We've had protests for 30 years. But the Israeli people are united as never before. Last week, they voted 99-9 in the Knesset for my proposal that says that the way that we have to do two things. We have to win the war, have total victory, but also not have an international dictate of a Palestinian state shoved down our throats that would endanger Israel. The people are overwhelmingly united on this. When is the last time we had 99 votes in the Knesset? I'll tell you, 30 years ago. So the people are united. The policy is right. The people support it. And I intend to take it to completion because that's what we have. We can't compromise with total victory because I'll tell you, we can't win the peace if we don't win the war. And we will win this war.
So You can see the determination there. Now, peace talks are ongoing, and Israeli troops and Palestinian forces continued to clash today all through the Gaza Strip. That's been happening all weekend long, even as mediators continued the peace talks, talking about a possible ceasefire to free hostages that are still being held by Hamas. And over this weekend, approximately 86 people have been killed, Palestinians, while the peace talks continue. Probably the most divisive, emotional issue that I can think of, honestly, ever. I've never seen something divide people as much as this. Not even, well, maybe the pandemic and the lockdowns, but this issue, very, very, very divisive, very emotional. And then today, a U.S. soldier set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in the United States, in Washington. Apparently, he introduced himself as an active duty member of the U.S. Air Force, and then said that he will no longer be complicit in genocide. And then as he stood there on fire, he was yelling over and over again, "Free Palestine." Truly horrific. I don't know what has to be done to someone psychologically, or what condition they must be in to put themselves into that position and to hurt themselves in that way. It has to be a mindset very similar to being, I don't know, a suicide bomber or a kamikaze pilot, something akin to sacrificing yourself, thinking that there's maybe a higher reason, justification, maybe even a reward on the other side, which, of course, depending on your religion or ideology, may play a major factor in a decision to do something like that. People trying to make sense of something that, honestly, in many respects, just doesn't seem to make sense. Here's a video from the scene. And it's all roped off, where they've got the police tape up, obviously, and trying to secure the scene for evidence. And you can see them, the emergency crews over there, it appears they're working on. The man, I don't know. Shot from some distance away, about a half a block away. Terrible situation. And this was the scene as emergency crews were arriving at the Israeli embassy. And so, of course, the protests continue all over the world. This just one more. And I do have a picture that appears to be a picture of the man on fire, but honestly, I'm not going to show it to you because, for two reasons. One, I'm not sure if it's absolutely genuine. It looks like it could be AI generated. And two, even if it is real, it's at the beginning of the ignition of the flames, but it's still very disturbing, and I don't think you need to see it. So I'm not going to show it to you. If you really, really want to see it, it's available online. You can go find it. But I don't know that in this case it would add anything to the story. So a British-owned ship that was damaged in one of those Houthi missile attacks off the coast of Yemen. Apparently, the Houthis are saying it can be salvaged, and they are telling Britain, or at least the company that owns the ship, that they will salvage the ship if they allow aid into Gaza, food, other aid to go in there. So this ship is the Belize-flagged Rubimar. It was hit last week. They captured the ship back on Monday, and apparently the ship has suffered catastrophic damages. And at that time, as soon as it was hit, it came to a halt in the middle of the sea, and then it's been sort of just sitting there and leaking oil. Now, this oil slick apparently stretches about 18 miles. The ship is also filled with combustible fertilizer, and there are concerns about the environment. Possibly severe environmental damage from that fertilizer. So far, not clear what might happen, how the company or the government might respond. Now, also, I guess, related to all of this, I guess we can jump over to Ukraine. And this is somewhat inconvenient, I would say, for the West, for the United States, for Joe Biden. The Putin's main political rival, Alexei Navalny, as you know, passed away. What was it now? About a week ago? Anyway, he was in a prison, an Arctic prison, being detained by Russian forces. Well, today, the head of Ukraine's defense intelligence came out, after the body of Navalny was released, finally, and that there was, a lot of, shall we say, politics and delays and confusion surrounding, first, where they had placed the body, second, whether it was going to be released to his wife. And there was all this speculation out there that Navalny had been killed while in prison, basically assassinated by Vladimir Putin, or ordered by Vladimir Putin to do it. This was certainly, or Russian authorities. He was, as I say, the top opposition Russian politician in Russia. Well, the cause of death has now been determined to be natural causes. That's what came from Russia. That is also now what the head of Ukraine's defense intelligence is stating, confirming that Alexei Navalny died of a blood clot. And the quote here is, "I may disappoint you," he says. And this person's name, the head of the Ukraine defense, is Krylo Budanov. And he says, "I may disappoint you, but we know he died from a blood clot. It's more or less confirmed. This is not taken from the internet, but unfortunately a natural death." I mean, we saw Joe Biden hugging Navalny's wife when meeting with her. We saw Justin Trudeau making his speech calling out Putin, pointing the finger at Western leaders, many of them, if not all of them, pointing their fingers at Putin, saying he was responsible for Navalny's death. Now, I'm not sure how Western leaders might respond to this new information. Difficult to say. My guess is they will continue to blame Putin anyway. They're probably going to say something like, if he hadn't been in prison in the first place, he wouldn't have developed the blood clot. That would be my guess. But we shall find out over time. So just to give you a little background on this, it was February 16th when Russia's Federal Penitentiary Service reported Navalny's death. He was at Correctional Facility number 3 in Karp Yamalo Nenets Autonomous Okrug in northwestern Siberia. Navalny was sent to prison in early 2021. He was sentenced by the Moscow City Court at that time to serve a sentence of 19 years in prison for extremism. At least that's the information I have here. There may be more details on the exact charges, but he was sentenced to a 19-year prison term. Then, on the 19th of February, Navalny's mother, Lyudmila Navalny, arrived at the morgue in Salakard, where the body of Navalny, her son, apparently was kept. But neither she nor her lawyers were allowed to take the body at that time. But they did appeal by video, and finally the body was handed over on the 24th. Obviously, they've taken these other officials on the opposite side. The family, they must have arranged to have the body examined. Ukrainians now saying that he died of a blood clot. An inconvenient truth for the West that had been using Navalny as I would say, a political tool for sure. And I have to admit, I also was of the mind that he probably had been murdered or killed in some way, or had died because of neglect of some kind. It was difficult for me to know. I wasn't entirely sure one way or the other, but I was leaning toward that, and I think I had made some comments here on the program that maybe even were a little out of turn. And so if I did do that, I do apologize. I don't know that I did go over the line, but if I did, then, I would acknowledge that, and there's a possibility. So that's where we're at with that, and that is honestly a surprise to me. I thought that we would get something different back. In fact, I thought that even if he had died of natural causes, that once they got the body back, they would lie. So I thought it was almost a predetermined outcome, that the messaging coming from the Western side, the NATO side, would be that Navalny had been murdered, no matter what, but that is not what we got. So I would say, based on the information we have here tonight, that is probably a very accurate little nugget of information, a very rare piece of truth at a time when truth is in extremely short supply. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a short break. We'll come back and continue with today's top news stories.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
All right, what else do we have for you tonight? Lots of stuff. We actually got through that material a lot faster than I thought. That cyber attack on the RCMP in Canada that I told you about the other night, it's now getting international attention. Here's ABC picking up the story that we told you about here. It's got to be at least 2 days ago, I think 2 days ago. And they should be focused on it. This is becoming a bigger story. We've also seen recently at least 2 RCMP officers charged with theft of secret, although not necessarily top secret documents, but theft of documents that they were attempting to sell to foreign actors. And then this story about a cyber attack on Friday. Yeah, that was Friday. And yeah, this was reported earlier and now being picked up here by ABC on this story, getting, as I say, international coverage. RCMP saying there's no known safety and security risk, but they're assessing things, continuing to. And they should be taking this pretty seriously, I think, because these cyber attacks are only ramping up, becoming more serious. It says here the U.S. Justice Department also said last month that it had successfully disrupted an effort by Chinese government-sponsored hackers to target critical U.S. infrastructure networks using malware. We also reported that to you. So all of this is happening as the dangers of cyber attacks on critical infrastructure and government operations are becoming the focus of cybersecurity experts within government and police agencies. Canada's Global Affairs Office was targeted in a security breach last month. There was at that time a malicious cyber activity that had an impact on internal data from the agency staff. So we'll continue to follow that. My guess is, well, it's not a guess, it's a foregone conclusion. We'll see more of this because we have just become a society that relies heavily on computers. digital technology and maybe even digital currency, as some people fear. Now, Nikki Haley, not dropping out. She is determined to stay in the race. I'm not exactly sure why, unless she's suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. The odds are clearly stacked against her. She lost a primary state to Donald Trump. South Carolina, Saturday, yesterday. And a lot of analysts are saying that the longer she stays in the race, the more she may be running the risk of damaging her political future. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's what some people are suggesting. Maybe. Why she seems so determined? Why is she that determined? Very, very good question. I mean, Trump is really running away with this. I don't think that surprises anyone, especially at this point. Why is she so determined to stick it out? And the longer she stays there, I think the more it, undermines Donald Trump's overall chances, his momentum. Kind of takes a little bit of the wind out of his sails just because it costs him more and more money. But her support is dwindling. And so, yeah, she's off to Michigan today. And 72% of Republicans at this time say they support Trump, 28% Haley. Here's a clip of Trump's main, well, really only challenger left now. Let's bring her up and listen to what she has to say and have her tell you why she's so determined to stick it out. Here's Nikki Haley. Where'd we go? Yeah, that's right.
Everyone wants to bring back the America we know and love. That's the underlying message of what happened today. I want to congratulate Donald Trump on his victory. And I want to thank the people of South Carolina for using the power of your voice. America will come apart if we make the wrong choices. This has never been about me or my political future. We need to beat Joe Biden in November. I don't believe Donald Trump can beat Joe Biden. I said earlier this week that no matter what happens in South Carolina, I would continue to run for president. I'm a woman of my word.
Hang on, there's a little bit more here. Let's let her continue, finish the thought.
Approve of both Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Another man, not a lot of people know him. He doesn't do too much television. He happens to be a little bit further left than some of the people on the stage. But I always say, when I'm in trouble on the left, I call up Lindsey Graham and he straightens it out so fast. And I'll tell you, no, remember. I love him. He's a good man. Come up here, Lindsey. Come up here, Lindsey. Come here.
Okay, are you ready? America The nightmare you're facing is just about over. Help is on the way. This is the most qualified man to be president of the United States. And let it be said that South Carolina created the biggest political comeback in American history.
So, it continues. The battle rages on. The struggle. But we all know where it's going. It's very, very clear. Predetermined outcome at this point. I don't think there's any stopping the Trump train. Not unless they can do something on the legal side. But even then, I just don't think it's going to happen. All right. Now, here in Canada, hang on, I just need to get that audio out of my ear. Okay, so here in Canada, we have that by-election coming up in the riding of Durham. It's a federal by-election. And we are planning on having an all-candidates forum on Tuesday night, February 27th, starting at 7 p.m. Just reminding everyone that that is happening. And I hope you all show up and take that in. I think it will be a very interesting discussion, debate, if you will. I think that riding is turning out to be a window through which we can view the current political landscape. It looks like the Conservative candidate is way out in front in the polls at the moment with over 50% support. Now, that being said, Jamal Giovanni seems to be hiding. We've reached out to him and have had zero response so far to any of our correspondence, not even an email back, not a text, not a phone call, nothing. But folks, we are not alone. It looks like he's hiding. I see that Jamal Giovanni has simply not responded to many media outlets, maybe even all of them, not doing interviews, and has not participated in any debates. I think the other candidates are getting a little bit frustrated with Mr. Giovanni. No, in fact, I'm certain of it. They'd like to engage with him and have discussions on the issues. And I know that in the federal riding of Durham, which is in the Toronto area, Oshawa, the issues reflect what the concerns are across the country, indeed maybe across North America, worried about inflation, the cost of housing, immigration, from one perspective or the other, gun violence, security, healthcare, the wars, federal funding for other countries, and war efforts. All of those things front and center. And we have candidates representing the entire political spectrum there, which is also why I think it will be great to have this all candidates forum. We have, of course, the Liberals, the NDP, the Conservatives all represented, but we also have the alternative parties like the People's Party of Canada. We have the new party that has been formed by one-time Conservative Party hopeful Grant Abraham. His new party is called the United Party of Canada. He's running in that riding, even though he is the leader of the new party. He's actually been parachuted in and is hoping to secure a victory there. We have a candidate from the Centrist Party, a candidate from the Rhinoceros Party. We have an independent candidate, and I think that covers it all. We can get into the issues maybe a little bit more tomorrow night, and more details on each of these candidates, and a little bit longer discussion tomorrow as we prepare for the full program on Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Should be a good night. A lot of people speculating too on still speculating on who it will be Donald Trump's running mate. I mean, some people are even thinking that it might be Nikki Haley, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. Although that would be one way to just end the challenge, but then he's got to live with her. I don't think he wants to. I don't think so. Would it be DeSantis? Could it be DeSantis? I don't know. You know, DeSantis kind of played the race card in the opposite direction. The other day, he made some sort of a comment saying that Donald Trump should not go to, what was it, gender or identity politics in order to make the decision on who his running mate should be. In other words, he shouldn't pick a woman or a person of, in a minority or whatever. You shouldn't pick them based on that in order to appeal to a particular demographic. But I think that's inevitable. They're going to look at everything. They're going to look at what it's going to take to get the votes. So they need someone that ticks all the boxes for voter appeal. Do they look right? Do they sound right? Do they walk right? Do they talk right? Do they think the same as Donald Trump? Are they compatible? Can the two of them live with each other after the election? Should they be successful at the ballot box? Will they attract women voters? Will they attract voters from, a demographic, an age demographic that is important to Donald Trump, an age demographic or an some other demographic that Trump can't get to himself, doesn't appeal to, so he can fill in some of the blanks there for his level of support. And I stick by my previous prediction. I say Tulsi Gabbard. Some say RFK Jr. I don't think so. Some say Kristi Noem. No, I don't think so. As I just go down the list, I keep coming to Tulsi Gabbard. Democrat that left the party, just like Donald Trump. Well, a little bit different than Donald Trump, but they both left the party. And now she has kind of come over to join the Republican side. She's at Republican events, CPAC events, all of these things. So I think she fits the bill. And speaking of that by-election in Durham, this is a picture of MP from Windsor who went up there to support Robert Rock, the Liberal candidate in that riding. And hopefully that candidate will join us on Tuesday as well. So they were out campaigning today, doing some door knocking. All of them racing now to the finish line. Not a lot of time left, and especially for the, the lesser known candidates, time is their enemy because they need to get name recognition, party recognition for their platforms, make people understand, and then convince them to vote against the popular brands. Do you want Coke or Pepsi? Nevertheless, it's the issues that really will be front and center during the conversation. Okay, what else do we have? Man, we've kind of ripped through a lot of the a lot of the main stories. Did you see this story? Really didn't touch on this earlier this month, but there are stories now about the RCMP investigating online groups that appear to be involved in child exploitation, apparently pressuring young people into harming themselves, targeting especially kids that are psychologically vulnerable. So I'm just going to share this information with you, but just be forewarned that some of this stuff is pretty disturbing. So just viewer discretion, obviously. But I guess they target these kids online anywhere from, I think, about the age of 7 or 8 to the age of about 17. And they encourage them to do harmful things to themselves. Very strange. And it's a growing problem, apparently. So the RCMP is working on this in conjunction with the FBI. And these groups apparently use a variety of names. I've never heard of, really, I don't think of any of these before. But the group's names are 676, 764, CVLT, Court, C-O-U-R-T. Sometimes they use the name CASCAR or Harm Nation, Leak Society, H311 or H311. So this has been the subject of some online talk, some chatter, talk about predators grooming children through these groups. They're seeing some of this activity in places like Discord. So it's definitely something to be aware of, especially if you have kids. So I hadn't really heard about this before, but some social media posts about it here this evening that just came across to my attention, and I wanted to bring it to your attention as well, hopefully to help you keep your kids safe. And that's the way it is in this crazy, crazy world tonight. I don't know. All right, so that gets us to, well, we've been at this now almost an hour, and we've kind of been able to get through all of the, the major stories for the evening. So what we'll do is, I think I will fire up the phone lines and let you guys join the conversation here tonight. We'll go into this a little bit earlier than normal. Give me just a couple of minutes. I'll get things, get rid of that guy. And there we go. We'll run a couple of promos, get the new phone system fired up, and you guys can join the conversation.
Hello, world. Are you awake? Uniting humankind by liberating millions of minds at a time. Maverick News. The world is watching. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, still working to get things set up here in the new system. Almost there, actually. Things are looking pretty good here as I figure out how to drive this machine. And I gotta still figure out a few things. Yeah, that should kind of do it there. All right. Sorry about the delay. I'm still a noob running this new system. But I just need a minute more and we'll be right back. And then we'll give you guys the number to call. In fact, I'll put it up on the screen now. It's not activated, but it will be in a moment. I believe this is the new number right here. 1-319-527-6770. Okay, so I'll run that promo for you right now. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now at 1-319-527-6770. That's 1-319-527-6770. Exercise your right to free speech. Call 1-319-527-6770. Call now at 1-319-527-6770. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. Yeah, I'm not sure that's actually correct. Hang on a second here. We have some of this stuff backwards. Maybe not. No, I think you're right. No, it's right. We're good. So that is correct. And I do have the system ready to rock and roll. Calls are actually starting to come in now. Okay. I just need to punch in a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Almost there. Got it. And we are ready to rock and roll. Beautiful. We have it all set up. Look at that. There's the system on the screen. And we're ready to take some phone calls. Now let's go to our first caller of the night and see what we have.
Oh,
go ahead, you're on the air. Who's on the line?
Hi. Hello?
Hello, who's this?
Steve from Simcoe. I've called you a couple times before.
Well, welcome back,
yeah,
Steve.
I just wanted to know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, how are you doing? All right?
I'm just fine,
yeah,
thanks.
Sorry I missed the start of your stove, but I'm here now, so I was going to ask you, have you got any idea what the military deaths are of the Ukraine war machine?
I do not know. I don't think, honestly, there are really reliable numbers. I have heard that the person sort of providing numbers out there most often has been Colonel McGregor. His numbers seem to be very high to me, and I don't know if they're accurate. I've heard, other military experts say that it's really almost impossible to really assess. All we know for sure is that it has been a terrible, bloody, brutal war with severe casualties on both sides. But in terms of numbers, I really don't know. I've heard numbers, casualties on the Ukrainian side as high as 400,000. But quite honestly, I've looked at that, piqued my interest. I went in and I looked at the actual number of soldiers, people like the Ukrainian military is supposed to have, and those numbers to me just don't add up. It doesn't make sense to me. So I hate to challenge someone as authoritative as Colonel McGregor.
Well, my thought on that is, why are they getting all kinds of different types of people off the streets or any place else they can to put them in the Ukrainian army? Pregnant women, they found them dead in the battlefield. Old men up to 70 years old. The average age of the military now is 43, when most armies around anywhere from 24 to 32. No, I think the numbers are really high because aerial footage shows a lot of graves being dug in all the cemeteries across the Ukraine. So, if they started out with, say, X amount of soldiers, and this war's been going on now 2+ years, and then you got to steal people off the streets, what happened to the military? Where are they?
Yeah, I mean, this is the information certainly that seems to be coming out, and I cannot sit here and confirm it or say it isn't true. I just know it's being reported. I'm seeing some of those same reports. How accurate that stuff is, I don't know. And I understand what you're saying about the graves, because I know that there has been some effort to try to measure casualties by looking at the expansion of grave sites with aerial photography from satellites.
Well, those wounded Ukrainian soldiers, commanders are giving up because they can't save their men, and they're asking the Russians to take them, and the Russians take them and they surrender. That tells you something. The Ukrainian hospitals are all full, and they don't have enough people to take them off the battlefield. It's not right for bleeding people to bleed themselves out and die.
No, of course not. And
Not fair.
again,
No,
that's.
not
I mean,
fair.
we've had Kevin Michelizzi on here talking about this subject. He seems to have some pretty good sources. But again, I really just don't know. And in a time of war, getting accurate information is very difficult. As I listened to a couple of analysts yesterday, I think that the one thing we can be certain of is when battles are won or lost, we can stand back and get a better assessment of that and understand things from a wider perspective, and know that information is at least factual. We know that Avdiivka fell, and that the Russians have now taken control of that, and that is a pivotal, it's a milestone in the war, maybe a critical juncture. So that's definitely a significant event that we know is factual. The Russians are now in control of that, and in fact, they now have a whole swath of territory that they are controlling in a very in a commanding way. So that's certain.
They haven't even started their offensive. They're still on the defensive mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mean the Russians? You mean?
Yeah, the Russians. Yeah, they're not. They haven't started their offensive yet.
Yeah,
It's
well,
going to come. I think they're just waiting to see what NATO wants, what kind of stupid new NATO might want to make. I think
Yeah.
that's what they're not afraid of. They don't want to really escalate the war. They just want to end it. But Zelensky, the great person that come to our parliament and brought a Nazi with him, wowee, where's Zelensky now? He's at the bottom of the list. Made fools of everybody in parliament.
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah.
right from the very beginning, we were pointing out here that they do have actual Nazi battalions over there, Nazi soldiers. Not all of them,
Oh,
but
God, I know
certainly they
that.
have them.
Oh,
And,
he's a battalion.
Yep.
We got a picture of famous deputy prime minister holding the banner here.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah. We've
that's not nice.
No.
Anyways, the next question I like to ask: What is the total amount of our taxpayer money that has gone into the Ukrainian black hole to date?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's look that up. How much money has Canada sent to Ukraine? So, since February of 2022, Canada has committed $2.4 billion in military aid, and then I think it was yesterday, right? Was it yesterday? I think so. We saw Trudeau commit another $3 billion to the war effort over there. Yeah.
And how did that get through Parliament? Who voted on that?
That's a good question. I don't know about this latest $3 billion, but there was a vote in the House of Commons on that. You know, those first rounds of funding for sure. That definitely happened. So there must have been something that happened in Parliament that I didn't see. But then again, I don't know, because that $3 billion, that surprised me. I don't know how the heck that was offered up as part of that agreement. Beyond that, I'm not sure, because it happened on the weekend, on a Saturday, kind of out of the blue for me. It wasn't on my radar at all. So I guess your guess is as good as mine.
This is a sad government that doesn't understand what's going on in the war. None of these Western countries, they're all a bunch of morons, and they're all tied into the globalist idea that they want to rule us without any elections. And this is sad. It's really going to be bad in the States. I don't know how they're going to run that election down there, because now I hear that all these people that they brought across the border illegally are going to be given the right to vote. No, I always thought you had to be American citizen. If you're an immigrant, you had to take a course, and you had to 2 to 7 years to get your citizenship or whatever it is. Then you were allowed to be able to vote.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it works in Canada. I'm pretty sure you have to be a citizen to vote.
Yeah, I'm just looking up the information on that $3 billion, and here's what I've been able to find. And I should have done this yesterday, but things kind of went sideways. So it's a $3.02 billion funding commitment, and it's for this current year, but it's a 10-year lifetime agreement, and it isn't clear how much more or how the money might be distributed over the next decade. So it's a non-binding treaty of some kind, rather than an agreement that sets out a series of measures and expectations between the two governments over the next 10 years. And
Who audits the money?
well, I don't know. Maybe ask the accountant that also signed off on Christopher Freeland's $6,000 beauty parlor bill.
Well, you got to look good, eh?
Oh, I shouldn't even laugh. I know
Well, I
people's...
see them people sitting in Parliament, living off of our dime. They look pretty good in there. They all got sharp suits. All their hair looks good.
Yeah.
Some of the women, they got nice diamond earrings and everything else. Wow.
I don't know, man.
Anyway,
You know,
I'm going to let you go. There's probably other callers.
Yeah.
Have a nice day or night, whatever it is. Talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, sir. You have a great
Bye-bye.
night.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.
And yeah, no, we don't have the callers there in the moment. We had a few in the queue, but they've dropped off. So if you'd like to join the conversation tonight, the number is 1319 527-6770. 1319 527 6770. Call early, call often, and we'll put you on the air here. All right, let me take another break while we punch a few buttons and get ready for our next callers. I shall be right back after this.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, you can join the conversation at 1319-527-6770. Let's go to our next caller. Who do we have on the line?
Hey, it's Steve calling.
Hey, Steve, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm not bad.
Good.
Completely off topic from all of your news tonight. I had something that's on my mind in the last, I think probably, I don't know, last day and a half maybe. Are you aware of the Patriot Front organization down in the States? Like a white nationalist group. They go around protesting. There's a lot of, there's a lot of controversy around this particular group.
I've heard of them, yes.
So, in the last, it's unclear to me, maybe in the last 2-3-ish days, the leader of that organization, Thomas Russo, was arrested.
Okay.
For a warrant that stems back 7 years ago for a protest happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. This is 7 years ago, like in 2017.
Okay.
So they had basically he was involved in this march, and it was a massive march. There's lots of footage of it that you can find online as to what happened that day.
Yeah.
But it just makes me want to bring up my concern that it just seems like I feel like it's a blow to how difficult it is to protest against this tyrannical government that we're in.
Well, before we go further, Steve, I'm just trying to find some details on this arrest. So I just did a quick search. I'm not seeing anything come up. Are you certain that he was arrested just recently? Or were there just charges later?
As certain as from what comes up in my feed. So I get my feeds off of Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots going around on Twitter. And there was a fundraiser yesterday for Chris Lysak that was put on by the Diagolon group.
Yeah.
And they had talked about it during that marathon. It was a 12-hour marathon, right? Yesterday, that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not seeing any indication here at all that there was a recent arrest for that person from that extremist, well, whatever kind of group it is, Patriot Front. I've heard the name. I really don't know much about them. and I really don't know a lot about Mr. Russo. I do know that I'm aware that they were present, I guess, at the Charlottesville incident.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really all I know. So beyond that, I can't confirm that what you're telling us is accurate with regard to a recent arrest.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe just put a watch out on it. Maybe it just hasn't hit your waves yet.
It's possible.
But to me, to me, I look at it as just like another blow. It's if you go back in time, we had this incident here that I was just talking about in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you get other things like J6, and then you get the trucker protests, and then recently now we're having the...
So what specifically is it about that concerns you? Why do you feel that there's some imbalance or unfairness there? To put this into, proper context for our viewers,
Well,
not just that
because
you have sympathy for this person.
Because they're coming after him for an event that happened 7 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
And
And
to
I
me,
mean, yeah.
that's because I've
But what's the charge though? Like I don't, without the details. I mean, it's we can sit here and say these things, but I can't even confirm that he's been arrested or charged with anything. And then it's difficult to have any kind of context on something like that if we don't even know if we don't even know first if he has been charged,
right.
and then we don't know what he might have been charged with. So this is entirely theoretical at this point because we don't have any information at all. And then right. So maybe he wasn't charged for all I don't know. And a lot of stuff on Twitter that I see is sort of old recycled stuff sometimes that even I make a mistake and I think it's current, but it's from like a year ago or whenever. And I've made the mistake
coming
here.
Off
so
of my
don't know.
lip,
Yeah.
I'm just speaking on. It's just because when I see an article like this and a story like this, it just compounds all the other stories that have been laid on me lately.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the thing, though, right? We can't.
All these
Yeah, we shouldn't just let the news pile up on us and overwhelm our senses or our cognitive reasoning. We shouldn't just let the news overwhelm us. We need to try and stay focused and keep our heads screwed on straight, so we're just looking at the facts, right? Because I don't know, Steve. I don't know what else to. I don't know how to assess this because there's no concrete information here. But I appreciate the call.
Okay, well, I'm not going to push. I guess I just wanted to call and I guess air it out to the world what it is that I'm dealing with over here. Trying to make sense of everything.
Sure.
And,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, regardless of what someone's political views are, whether they're a liberal, a conservative, a socialist, a Republican, a Democrat, or the member of some sort of a controversial, white supremacist group, everybody should be treated equally under the law, right? And hopefully fairly.
It's a strike against our ability to congregate and to speak. Like it's like our ability stand up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
In front of our government and to let them know our grievances is becoming harder and harder and harder to achieve. Because they'll charge us, they'll jail us, they'll beat us, they'll spray us.
When you say us, when you say us, who do you refer to, and what do you mean by us?
Okay, by us generally, by anyone who's deciding to go into the streets and decide to protest against everything. Like everything that's wrong.
Well, I don't know though, Steve. I mean, I see protests on the streets like constantly for all kinds of groups, from freedom groups, which are out there literally every weekend all over Canada. I see, Palestinian protests. I see pro-Israeli
Journalists.
protests. I see all kinds of protests. I see
David Menzies getting arrested.
Oh yeah, I mean there's those issues too for sure. Yeah. And there's seems to be some
Stupid.
imbalance in the way the cops handle things, no question. But we do protest. People protest constantly. Sorry, did I lose you there, Steve? No, I think you're still there.
No, you didn't lose me. It's
Yeah.
just, I think it's a rude awakening. I'm glad I called.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass it on to the next caller there.
Cool. All right.
It's an overwhelming call tonight.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
All right.
Take care.
Same here, Rick.
Okay, let's go to our next caller. And go ahead. You are on the air.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Sir Rick. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Sandy?
I'm okay. Thank you.
I just
I
can't
love you.
can't mistake that voice of yours. Always a ray of sunshine.
Oh, thank you. So I'm with Steve too. Like, I was watching a little bit today. I went to church. I went to mass. I came home. Did my chores. Moving on. So I'm concerned that there's no queen.
Well, we do have a king now, filling
Yeah, I know.
that role.
Well, I'm a little concerned of him too.
As a lot of people are.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I don't want Carmela as queen. Do you know who I want queen? Meghan.
Meghan Markle?
No, Meghan with Harry. You know Prince Harry?
Yeah. That's what I'm referring to.
His wife.
Yeah.
She should be queen.
Why?
She's young. She could do it.
I don't think she wants the job. They don't even want to be part of the royal, the whole royal thing. They've kind of bowed out essentially, and they're living in Hollywood. They don't want it. They don't want the gig. And they don't.
Exactly, because do you remember when he came out and he had a letter and he pretty much told the monarchy to you know what, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He read it. He read the letter. I remember him doing that, and you know what? He's like, I'm done with this. It's not my problem anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but they still. I don't think he deserves to be king, and she doesn't deserve to be queen. They want the money, they want the security, they want the lifestyle, but they don't want to do the job. They don't want to do the work. I mean, that's the trade. They don't want to do the work. No, they want to live in Hollywood, and she wants to live her life. And they seem to, honestly, in my view, have some level of contempt for tradition. They don't want any part of it. And because they don't want any part of it, I don't see that they're worthy of the job, because they still want enough of a connection to the royal family that they have affluence and wealth, basically an allowance, but they don't want to have to do all of the events and they just don't want to have to do the work. Like, that's the trade-off. If you are the king or a duchess or whatever position you have to go to events, and you have to stand there, and you have to meet with world leaders, and you have to do all your ceremonial things, and you have to make sure you follow protocols, and it's life in a fishbowl, man. Like, you can't just pick up and head off to the shopping mall, because you might get, I don't know, swarmed or something by adoring fans, or people who maybe don't like you so much. Who knows what might happen? And that's the trade-off.
It's not that I don't like the king.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like the king. I just heard a little bit of, you know what I mean? Like, I've just heard a little bit of not so not.
No, oh yeah, I
About-
mean, yeah, I know.
I don't know whether I believe it or not.
Mhm.
I know. I don't know whether I believe it or not, but she's like in the background, and she's like, Carmela is like, she's so quiet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's very quiet. She's very like in the background.
Yeah, well, that's the way she
You
goes.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. You know what? The Queen, I remember when the Queen passed away, and I think it was like, what, 20, help me out here. What? It was like a couple of years ago. It was November.
What was? I'm sorry, I'm
remember-
not following you.
The Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah. Oh, when she passed away?
Yeah, when she passed away, it was like November, right?
September 8th, 2022. I
September?
just looked it out to confirm it. So September 8th of 2022.
September 8th, 2022.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no Queen.
Right.
There's no Queen.
No queen.
And I think the British monarchy needs to step up, and they need to start, you know.
Okay.
I want to go to Scotland. I want to go to Scotland.
Don't let me stop you.
My background is Scottish.
Oh, well, that's cool.
It's great and it's grand.
Well, good for
I
you.
really want to go to Scotland.
Okay.
Yes, I know. I'm praying for the day. I want to go to Scotland. I want to see the country. I want to see the mountains. You had a caller a while ago. I think her name was Chris, and she's from. She speaks so well. She's
Chris
such
from
a-
out west,
what a
someplace there, you
sweetheart.
mean? Chris from out west in Alberta?
Yeah, from out west. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she speaks very well with her English, and she knows all about the West. And you know what? I'm living central, and it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm living in a swamp.
Well, I think that maybe you're moving on up, so.
I hope so. I know. I really hope so. But you know what? We do need a queen, and they really need to be very picky about it. They have to be very pick. You know what? Maybe Harry and Meghan will come back and they'll nip it in the bud.
Maybe, but I don't think that they're going to do it, Sandy, because like I said, they don't really want the gig. And that should tell. I think that should tell you something too. I don't
want the gig
think.
either.
I don't think that being the king is all it's cracked up to be. Quite honestly, yeah, you're wealthy and you have, but I don't know how much freedom a king actually has. Maybe in some ways more, but in other ways, any world leader like that, you're living in a bubble, and you can't go anywhere without protection. You have to ride in a armored car, or somebody might try and do something bad to you. That's a rough life. It's the same thing with, any president or any
It's the
prime
same
minister.
thing with Canada. It's a rough life.
Yeah. So if you're doing your job properly, it is a sacrifice, really, if you're committed to the job and you're doing it right, because you do give up a lot of your privacy. You're always being followed around by photographers, reporters, right? So,
Paparazzi.
and even if you're a dictator and you get to have your own way all the time, there's always somebody looking to assassinate you. So that's just you're a moving target, man. When you're in a position like that, how's the old saying go? The closer you are to the top, the closer you are to the door.
That's true. And the farther are you up, the lower you are down.
Sure. That sounds good too. We can go with that.
Yeah, that's true. And I just wanted to say, like, it's been a journey, and I don't want to be here. I don't want to live in this country where there's no king and there's no queen and there's no diversity, and it's just poverty, and it's just like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, then I guess you're just going to have to get the heck out of Dodge. And it sounds to me like maybe you've got a plan.
Get a Dodge Ram, or get a Dodge, or
Sure.
it's some form of vehicle or something.
Right. Okay, Sandy.
You are the best, Sir Rick.
Thank you. I appreciate the call, and I appreciate you, Sandy.
I appreciate you too. Be
Right.
safe, and I hope you have a great week.
Yeah, you too. We'll talk to you again soon.
You too.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Cheers.
That was Sandy. And you can join this conversation tonight at 1-319-527-6770. 1-319-527-6770. I will be back right after this.
The information war is raging. Truth without integrity is worth nothing. Maverick News. Because those who have power and those who seek it must be held accountable.
The world is watching.
Join our family of truth seekers. Donate today and add your voice to the chorus of Maverick Knights. Donate at maverickdonations.com. Truth. Integrity. It's the Maverick way. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now at 1-319-527-6770. That's 1-319-527-6770. Exercise your right to free speech. Call 1-319-527-6770. Call now at 1-319-527-6770. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. Okay. And again, you can join the conversation at 1-319-527-6770. And if you're inclined to support the program, you can do that by donating at maverickdonations.com. That's the Give, Send, Go. Or you can support us at freedomreporters.com. That's freedomreporters.com. Any donation of $30 or more, and I will send you a t-shirt if you want one. Just let me know in the comments, in the comment section when you donate, what size of shirt you need. You can also support the show simply by liking, sharing, subscribing. If you subscribe on our YouTube channels, make sure you hit the notification bell, and please consider subscribing over on Rumble. That would help us a whole lot because we continue to grow over there. And I really appreciate the ongoing support from you guys, because it's your support, it's only your support, really, that pays the bills here for the phone system, for instance, which is still activated and ready to take the next call at 1-319-527-6770. 1-319-527-6770. If you'd like to join the conversation tonight. And it would be great to have some new voices join the conversation here. So if you haven't called in before, I would really welcome the call. See if we can get some new perspectives on some of these issues, whether you want to talk about what's going on in Ukraine, or inflation here at home, or what's going to happen in the next election, or maybe you want to talk about this by-election coming up in Durham. We're really only about a week away from people going to the polls to determine who's going to fill that vacant seat in the riding of Durham, Ontario. We can really talk about anything you want. So with that being said, let me click on this and we'll see where things take us on the other side.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom. Exile. The Knights of Malta. Maverick News. Join us. The world is watching.
And we do have Exile the Knights of Malta t-shirts. Do I have one here? I think I do. On my pile. Right here. You have these as well. Not just Maverick News t-shirts, but these Exile the Knights of Malta t-shirts. So if you'd rather have one of those, I kind of like the design. I think they look kind of cool. Got to end the corruption, man. Got to end the corruption. So those are also available with your donation. If you want one, just let me know. News, Exile, your choice. In any color you want, as long as it's black. Now, 1-319-527-6770. We have lots of people watching. Nobody in the queue. And not surprising, given kind of what went down with the show last night. I think maybe some people a little reluctant to call in this evening, but I expect we'll probably get some sort of a caller on the line shortly. And I'm looking for new people. So if you're inclined, you can do that. Now, what I wanted to do tonight as well is, I have some of those Maverick Knights animated segments queued up, and I thought we might rerun a few of them in sequence here this evening, and just share those again. We can review the content, and then you guys can maybe even message me and let me know what kind of storylines you'd like to see in these Maverick Knights animated segments. So let's go to one of those right now. I'm just going to take this. I'll leave the number up on the screen, I guess, unless it's interfering with the subtitles, in which case I may take it down for the duration of this. And while this runs, you can still call in at 1-319-527-6770, and we can pick up calls on the other side. All right. Here's the pilot episode, the very first one that we did. The Maverick Knight series. I'll be back to talk about it on the other side.
Maverick Man, also known as Sir Richard, knew that he couldn't face Klaus Schwab alone. He needed the support of the Legion of Maverick Super Knights, a group of individuals who shared his passion for freedom and justice. Sir Richard sent out a distress signal to all the Maverick Super Knights, urging them to gather at their secret headquarters. The message spread quickly, and soon the headquarters was filled with knights from all walks of life, each equipped with unique abilities and unwavering determination. As the knights assembled, Sir Richard stood before them, detailing the dire situation at hand. He explained how Klaus Schwab, the global supervillain, sought revenge after his plan to destroy New York was foiled. Schwab's nuclear-powered electric car was just the tip of the iceberg, and the threat he posed to the world was far from over. The knights listened intently, their resolve growing stronger with every word. They knew that their duty was to protect the innocent and uphold the values of freedom and justice. Sir Richard proposed a plan to take down Schwab once and for all, combining their unique abilities and working as a cohesive unit. The Maverick Super Knights began training rigorously, honing their skills and devising strategies to counter Schwab's villainous tactics. Some possessed superhuman strength, others had advanced technological prowess, and a few were skilled in the art of espionage. Together, they formed an unstoppable force, ready to face any challenge that came their way. Sir Richard led the charge, rallying the knights and instilling in them the importance of their mission. They knew that they were the last line of defense against Schwab's reign of terror. With unwavering determination, they set out to dismantle Schwab's network, expose his evil plans, and bring him to justice. The battle between the Maverick Super Knights and Klaus Schwab's forces was intense. They faced countless obstacles and dangerous encounters, but their unity and determination never wavered. With each victory, they grew stronger, inching closer to their ultimate goal of stopping Schwab's reign of terror. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. The Maverick Super Knights cornered Schwab in his secret lair, ready to put an end to his villainous schemes. A fierce battle ensued, with powers clashing and determination fueling their every move. In the end, it was Sir Richard who confronted Schwab face to face. With a final, powerful blow, Sir Richard defeated the supervillain, ensuring that justice prevailed and freedom triumphed. The Maverick Super Knights stood victorious, having proven that their unity and unwavering dedication to the cause could overcome even the most formidable foes. Their legacy as defenders of freedom would forever be remembered, and the world would be safer with Schwab's reign of terror brought to an end.
Alright, so that was the pilot. And then we have this other episode here. So let's crack this one up. I don't even remember what this one was about. I'm just going to run them. The stories are self-explanatory. Here's the next Maverick Knights episode.
The Rise of Maverick Man, Uncovering Klaus Schwab's Diabolical Plot. Subtitle: Journalist Richard Paul exposes a global villain's evil plan to destabilize the world economy. Introduction. In a shocking turn of events, renowned journalist Richard Paul has unearthed a sinister plot orchestrated by Klaus Schwab, a global villain hell-bent on destroying the world economy. With stunning evidence in hand, Paul reveals how Schwab plans to blackmail the leaders of nuclear power nations using sex scandals and threats of terrorist violence. This article delves into the details of Paul's investigation, shedding light on the rise of Maverick Man, Sir Richard the Super Knight. Unveiling the mastermind, Klaus Schwab, a shadowy figure with immense power and influence, has long operated under the radar, manipulating world events for his personal gain. However, Richard Paul's relentless pursuit of the truth has finally exposed Schwab's malevolent intentions. As a respected journalist, Paul's credibility and extensive network have allowed him to gather evidence that unravels Schwab's web of deceit. The diabolical plan. Schwab's plan revolves around leveraging the darkest secrets of world leaders to gain control over their decision-making processes. By orchestrating sex scandals and planting seeds of terrorist violence, Schwab aims to create an atmosphere of fear and chaos, forcing these leaders to comply with his demands. The ultimate goal? To systematically dismantle the world economy, leaving nations vulnerable to his manipulations. Uncovering the evidence. Richard Paul's investigation has unearthed a trove of incriminating evidence against Schwab. Through meticulous research, interviews, and anonymous tips, Paul has pieced together a puzzle that reveals the full extent of Schwab's evil plan. From leaked documents to testimonies from whistleblowers, the evidence paints a chilling picture of a man willing to go to any lengths to achieve his nefarious objectives. The hero emerges. Amidst the chaos, one man stands tall, Sir Richard, also known as Maverick Man Knight in shining armor. Armed with the truth, Paul's alter ego takes on the responsibility of exposing Schwab's plan to the world. Maverick Man's unwavering determination and unwavering commitment to justice become the driving force behind his quest to save the global economy and protect innocent lives. The race against time. With Schwab's plan set in motion, Maverick Man faces a race against time to stop the destruction of the world economy. As he uncovers the true extent of Schwab's influence and connections, Maverick Man must navigate a treacherous landscape filled with danger, deception, and unexpected allies. Can he expose Schwab's evil plot before it's too late? Conclusion. Journalist Richard Paul's groundbreaking investigation into Klaus Schwab's diabolical plan has shed light on a global villain's attempt to destroy the world economy. Through his alter ego, Maverick Man, Paul takes on the daunting task of thwarting Schwab's nefarious scheme. As the world holds its breath, the fate of nations hangs in the balance, waiting for the rise of a hero to save the day.
But can't do it alone. I need the Maverick Knights. And that's you guys. Let's go to our next caller. Who do we have on the line? Go ahead. Are you there?
Any better?
There you are.
Hello. I'm watching this comic book thing. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I have to watch it again after. Didn't finish it. I'm on behind you. You're skipping on. You're freezing up on this YouTube all night.
Oh, is that right? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, this stuff's good. Reminds me of some cartoons I used to watch when I was a kid. They were talking and they were doing it.
What were your favorite cartoons when you were a kid, John?
Stuff.
What were your favorite cartoons?
Favorite cartoons? That's a good question. I don't remember that far back, but I don't know. I really don't know. I don't remember. But I did watch. I used to watch Bullwinkle on Sundays.
Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yeah.
Bullwinkle and Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky and Bullwinkle.
That was a good one I used to watch. I don't know. There were so many cartoons I used to watch.
Did you ever watch Roger Ramjet?
No, never even heard of it.
No?
Nope.
That was controversial. I used to watch a lot of Roger Ramjet. Roger Ramjet, he's our hero of our nation. You never saw it? I'd run it, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. I think that it might be copyright safe, but I suspect it's probably still hanging on the copyright side. It was controversial. Do you know why? You don't know why, because you've never heard of it.
What's that?
It was controversial because Roger Ramjet would take pep pills to give himself super strength, and that was determined to be speed. So they ended up taking it off the air, and it's actually been difficult even during the VHS and DVD eras to get copies of the cartoon. But it's available online. You can still find it out there. There's a little trivia for you.
Where the hell did I put it? I don't know. It's not here. There's a cartoon I used to watch a lot. Can't find it here, Rick. Oh, maybe this is it here. No, there's one more. No. I threw a lot of my CDs out. Nobody watches CDs anymore. DVDs, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Nobody watches them anymore.
Yeah. See, you should hold on to stuff like that, because in 100 years, it'll be worth, $1 or $2 more than you paid.
Just space and stuff. Today I was watching another talk show live, and he had Scott Ritter come on live.
Oh, yeah.
And I like what Scott Ritter said. He goes, those guys in Washington, they got a big ego. They want to win. It's like going to Vegas, and they'll keep throwing money to win. But he says, Vegas, the house is fixed. The house always wins, and you're never going to win. The house will always get their money back, and they will always win. And he was saying that there's no way they're going to beat Russia. It's impossible. But the states are trying so hard to beat Russia, right?
Yeah.
But it's never going to happen. That's what he's saying. It's never going to happen. So,
I suppose it depends on how you define a win. I think a win at this point would be to sit down and negotiate peace and stop the killing. That would be a win.
They don't
for
want
people.
that. They don't want that.
Yeah, very clearly they don't. You're right. Yep. Yeah.
It's like that other guy that you're talking about tonight there, Mr. Navalny there.
Navalny, yeah.
Ritter talked about him too, and Ritter talked about him. His wife, I think his wife's Russian, eh? Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Yep. So Navalny called her a cockroach. He says he called my wife a cockroach. My wife is not a cockroach, and he was fuming. And well, he explained and he proved it that this guy. I think he got $7 million from the CIA to go to Russia, and he's trying to bust up the government. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we ran video here a few nights ago of there's a video of him meeting with a Western intelligence officer, having a conversation.
Yep.
Related to that. So. I don't think any of that should surprise anybody when you have an opposition party that's trying to gain power against, somebody in power like Putin. Whether it's happening there or happening here, that's what governments do. They funnel money to political opposition to try and get their guy in, So
that's right.
That's the way the game is played. So I don't doubt that happened. I don't doubt it at all.
Well, he worked for the CIA. That's what I understood. But
yeah, well, whether he worked for him or not, I would not be at all surprised, and I'm sure that the information is probably accurate. That his party was being, in part at least, funded by foreign money, probably from the United States.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, the reason why I really called in, I'm watching. I don't want to go on these chats. It's too much. You've been warning us, and something going on, Rick, behind the curtain. You don't want to tell us. I see people talking. I've been watching the chats tonight, and people are talking.
No doubt. I don't doubt it at all. I've dipped in a little bit to see.
I ain't gonna say nothing, huh?
Yeah, I've dipped in. I see what's going on.
What's going on, Rick?
What's going on?
What's going on? Is there something behind the curtain that you're not telling us, or what?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm still gonna donate mine to your show.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Whether you do or you don't.
I don't want to.
I appreciate support, John, but you coming on here and participating and watching and me being here, it's not about that. I appreciate the support, of course, but it's not about the money at all. There isn't enough of it, honestly, here to have it. There just isn't much money here. I'm just trying to pay the bills. It's really about this, John. It's just about respect. It's about people intentionally sabotaging the channel. I see, people poking and prodding me even tonight, trying to get a rise out of me. And it's about making sure that the channel is open to anybody that wants to have free speech. I've been accused of stifling free speech by people who honestly have had more free speech here than anybody else. The person that got banned here, I asked nicely many times here on the program, in private, in messages, behind the scenes, asked him to clean things up. And I don't want to get into, anything personal there. It's not about that. I actually really like him. But a lot of people have been scared off. They don't feel like they can even come in and have a conversation because things have been dominated and things have become kind of vulgar in there. And I need to clean it up. I'm trying to run an operation here that is of a higher caliber. I'm trying to bring some level of professionalism here, and you can't do that when people are insulting others, or if you have a chat room, to put it, just to wrap it up in a disrespectful way where people can't chat. But people can accuse me all they want of sitting here and engaging in some sort of censorship, but these accusations are coming from someone who has called into this program in excess of 230 times. 230 times. So don't, nobody can sit there and accuse me of stifling that person's free speech. In addition to that, I've made this platform available to others who he has suggested come on, and I've been appreciative of all of that. And other people too, right? It's not just him or his people he has suggested, and that's been at times very helpful. But the point that I'm making is I platform people here that I don't even agree with, politically or on various issues, whether it's cannabis activism, magic mushrooms, you name the issue. Communism. I have communists on here, and I'm not a communist. I don't agree with that. I don't subscribe to the ideology, but I welcome them on the program to have discussions, and we do find common ground. I've had these advocates for cannabis on numerous times. I don't agree with it. I think society would be better off without people smoking weed or anything that kind of messes with their minds, but people have different views on it, and I respect that, and people make personal choices. I platform it and I allow it. I've facilitated the discussions on many things that I simply don't agree with. But free speech has limits. And it's not that I'm sitting here trying to be an enforcer, quite the contrary. I've gone to extreme lengths to not have people banned here. I've gone to extreme lengths. But free speech also means making room for other people. And if you engage in speech or conduct here that is insulting or threatening, or speech that incites violence, or endorses speech that incites violence, that is not right. It's to some degree illegal, potentially. It's damaging to the channel. It's disrespectful of other people. It's disrespectful of me. It's disrespectful of the channel. It puts everything here in jeopardy. And it's juvenile to sit there and suggest that your free speech rights are being violated here when it's clearly not the case. Quite the contrary. I provide a phone system here so people can call in. I provide a platform where I've had people, including the person who right now is most vocal about me stifling free speech, they've been on the program multiple times. And I also appreciated them providing content. It's been very helpful at times. No question about it. But at the same time, it's not right to use language that insults other people, makes people feel threatened, all right? I can tolerate things to a point, even vulgar language or even insults, but it just has gone way too far. And then when I've asked for it just to be dialed back, what did I get? I got mockery. It clearly wasn't being taken seriously. I got basically a challenge to me and just poking me. And I'm even getting it tonight still, because now I see, honestly, let's be frank, let's just be brutally honest. I see people in the chat tonight making comments basically designed to try and get a rise out of me. Because, and that's the point, John, the people who are doing that here tonight, they're not here to engage in free speech. They're here to attack the channel. They're here to attack me. It's malicious. It undermines what we're doing here. That puts everything we're doing at risk. It makes other people not want to come here. It means that we can't have a good conversation. Do you know how difficult it is even to get people to engage in this all candidates forum coming up on Tuesday? A lot of people some of these candidates, I think, won't show up because they feel threatened coming here. They think it's going to be an attack. But that's not the case. I'm going to make sure of that. Anybody that shows up will be treated fairly. They'll be given an opportunity to express their views. It's imperative that we do that. But as long as people come in and act like a bunch of 10-year-olds and have some sort of like a schoolyard insult competition and engage in really gross language, whether it's racist in nature or just simply vulgar, it's not right. It's not fair. And this is, if people say, oh, you're not about free speech then. You can't just come here and say anything you want. You can't, because there are limits. You can't threaten to kill me. You can't threaten to kill other people. There are certain places where you can't go. And there is a limit to how much time you should be allotted, because other people have to have time to speak as well. So that's really what it's about, John. It's about being respectful of others and making room for other people. And that's really what it's about. And frankly, I've got people who are trying to take the channels down. And they're trying to make it so that other people won't come here. And that's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you something. Remember me? I used to tell jokes, and everybody liked them. And then my jokes got a little bit more rude and dirty, and you put your foot on them, okay? And I
actually,
I said, you're right, Rick.
Yeah.
If I did that, if I go to work and start calling dick, cock, whatever,
right?
You're not gonna get any work. Put it that way, right?
That's right.
It's unless you work in some dive, somewhere.
That's right.
Scum hole. But people don't want to hear that kind of language, right?
They don't.
So I understand where you're coming from, but people taking down your channel, I like to know who these people are. Fuck, we can. Anyways.
Well, I mean, look. I received.
Working on it.
Yeah, and I received a phone call from somebody. This is probably 2-3 weeks ago, and I knew this was going on anyway. And I have names, and very specific people. I know who they are, and they are actively working to have us taken down on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter. And right now we're on a ban on Facebook because of that happening. In addition to that, and it's not really happening so much right now, but our websites have been hacked. And I know where that was coming from as well, but that's not, and so, I mean, what am I supposed to do? And it's all because, within certain circles, there's a paranoia, there's anger, there are people with political agendas. They decide that they don't like you, they don't like what I've stood for. I get accused of not being a real freedom fighter because I don't want to get violent, and then they come after me. Or because I've called people out for being bad actors and actually engaging in activity that really reflects very poorly on the gains and the positive things that other people are doing out there to regain our country, to get things back on the right track. And they put things in jeopardy, and that's what I've been about. It's about trying to keep things on course so that people who want to engage in bad activities that are going to just derail things, that we're made aware of that. But, no, because the problem has been that when people engage in these negative things, people are really honestly afraid to stand up and say anything about it, but I'm not. I don't care whether it's Justin Trudeau, Joe Biden, or somebody engaged in some local group here that I know, whoever it is. If you're going to do something really stupid that's maybe going to get people in trouble or hurt or worse, then somebody needs to step up and say something. Or you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just that a lot of people have embraced the negativity and they're cool with it, but I'm not. And this isn't the place for it. And I hope that's clear enough.
It's like the newspapers. If you use foul language and stuff, and the moderator it cuts it out, right? So you don't see that. But don't try to divide us in the group there, Rick. Try not to divide.
Hey, John, I'm not trying to divide people, right? I asked nicely many times. I asked and I asked and I asked, and that person, I complimented them because they are a natural leader, and it's a loss for us, for me. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
I didn't want to. I'm. It hurts me. I didn't like that. I like him, but can't control himself. Can't control his mouth. Can't stop. Can't just dial it back.
Is he banned?
He's damn well banned. Oh yeah.
Did you ban him?
I banned him.
Huh?
Oh yeah, of course I did. I did it. Not the mods. I did that one. Because that was too heavy, man. I couldn't ask a moderator to do that because so many people follow him. So many people look up to him. And that's what I kept trying to say. People look up to you. You have an opportunity to use your position, your influence with people to do good things. You have, whether you like it or not, a degree of personal responsibility that way. So it's up to you what you choose to do with that. But and I think he's got a good heart, but that's not what I got. Instead, I got sarcasm and mockery and poking me and not being respectful, not taking it seriously. It didn't stop. So that's it. Because, John, even though I lose that, if I clean this place up, we're going to get a whole lot more. And that's going to be of a whole lot more value to our country and our society in order to open the conversation in a meaningful and productive way for all people to come here so that we can engage in conversation again. But as long as that kind of activity is going on in the chat, there's half or maybe 3/4 of the population that simply won't come here to participate. And then we can't even talk to them. And that's not going to get us anywhere. All right, I need people to at least feel comfortable enough to come on the show as a guest or to maybe even watch the show and pop into the chat, and so where they're not going to be attacked just because they're pro-Palestine or pro-Israel or pro-Ukraine or not. Everybody's got to be able to express their opinion and not get shouted down like some crazy woke progressive screaming at the top of the lungs in the middle of the street going, ah, so I don't want to listen to you. La, 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 la. Like, no, we can't have this. And or worse, saying you're an F in this or you're an F in that or you're a dirt you know what, which is just, a disgusting thing to call somebody. Not here. Because that threatens people. That's like a direct, derogatory defamatory thing to say to somebody. And when I let somebody use language like that here, people just won't come. It's not cool with me. And I mean, Steve just called in, and what did he want to talk about? Some white supremacist group down in the States, the Patriot Front. Okay, well, I know where that's going, and I know why he wants to talk about it, but, the reality is I'm not cool with white supremacy. Well, I'll let somebody mention it or talk about it to some degree. I'll let them table it as a subject, but you're getting into real dangerous territory there, honestly. But too many people are embracing that, as far as I'm concerned. But if you want to promote it, then go to some other channel where they promote it. And I know a few that are doing it right now. And I don't recognize some people right now these days, John. I don't understand what's coming out of people's mouths. Things that a year ago never would have passed, through over the lips of some people, but here it is. It's like on the tip of the tongue now, and that's not cool, man. I don't know what you're about, but I'm about being nice to people. I don't care what the color of their skin is or their religion or anything else, right?
You get further ahead in life if you're nice to people.
Yes.
I tell you, Leo, if you had a good job making $100,000 a year, and you talk like that to the employees, you won't be there very long, because nobody's going to put up with that. Nobody. I've been working all my life. I've been high up companies. I've been told keep your mouth, don't talk.
Well, sure. I mean, come on. I mean,
politics,
it's just so...
religion, money. Never talk about politics, religion, and money. That's all we talk about here. Politics, religion, and money.
John, you're right, man. I appreciate what you're saying,
You can't... If I went into any company, okay, especially government, you won't last in there a day if you're F this and F that, and, you're not going to last.
Not at all. And either will this channel. Not in the long run. And I think, I have a responsibility too, right? Because we do have something special here. We have an opportunity here because we do have an audience. And I want to use that for good things to help us get back on track. But you're not going to get there. I'm not going to get there if I've got people in the chat saying F you and F that and F this and F that, and worse, a lot worse in some cases. I'm not going to get important guests to come on here to have serious discussions. They'll just avoid the channel, and I don't blame them a bit. So it's up to me to do something about it.
You got a good point there. You got a good point there. Nobody's going to want to come on if someone's calling them. How come Amnesty got blocked?
Amnesty's not blocked.
Removed by moderator. What the hell is this?
I don't know, John.
Who's the moderator?
I'm not even in the chat, and I did not block Amnesty.
This is Rumble.
Okay, I don't see Rumble when I'm on. I have to actually go to a whole other computer window in order to see what's going on in there. I have no idea.
She got removed. Message was removed by moderator.
Okay. I mean, I've got other mods. I'll have to check it out maybe after the show and find out what's going on. I didn't do it. I haven't given anybody instructions to ban anybody. So however that happened, I trust my mods, but I think what's happened here last night has been very damaging, and also some masks coming off. And I trust I trust my mods. I've just got probably 2 mods jacked up against each other, and that's okay.
You know what I do, Rick?
Yeah.
You know what I do? This is what I do, folks. If you got a guest on that I don't agree with, instead of cutting them up and running them down, I just go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or just go do something else and not,
Yeah,
come back later. Right?
Yeah. And I didn't want to talk about this tonight. I didn't want to talk about him. It's
but running down a guest you have on, or running down, being, very vulgar about some of these. I'm telling you, you'll never, in this world, you won't get anywhere talking like that. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not accepted, and it shouldn't be accepted on here or anywhere.
Right.
To be honest with you, but anyways,
it's simple.
That's my 2 cents, but I'm just trying to find out what's going on because
That's
I
it.
like Leo. Okay, I'm not saying I hate the guy.
I do too, John. I do. I love the guy. I love him, but can't have it. I'm sorry. I can't allow it, and that hurts me. But what am I supposed to do? And I don't think I don't think he I don't even think he understands. I think it's just lost on him because he's just.
That's him, though. That's
yeah,
him.
I know it's him. I know.
He's. I don't know how they keep him on his job. If he talks like that at work, I don't know if he talks like that at work. Maybe it's just a show here, but if he's walking around at work talking like that, these guys, I don't care how good you are, they're not going to keep you because you got people coming in there. This guy, I don't want to repeat what he says, but and,
so it's simple as that, and John, I love having you come on, man. So
door.
yeah. I don't know. And so
tomorrow I'm going to a concert. I won't be on. I'm going downtown to the ACC for a concert, so I'm gonna miss your show. But Tuesday I'll be back.
All right. Well, Tuesday is the debate, so hopefully that thing comes together. Not sure how many people are going to show up because, as I say, everything is so divisive right now. It's hard to know. It's a low trust environment, so they might, some of these candidates might think incorrectly that they're going to come here and get attacked, but they're not. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen.
I've been reading the chats tonight, Rick, all night, and they're pretty cool. There's like dirt squirrel. That's nothing wrong with that.
Well,
you're not going to ban someone for saying dirt squirrel, or that could be Leo, eh? He says that a lot.
That's exactly who says that. Yeah.
Huh?
Well, what do you think that? What do you think that? Define what that means for me.
Dirt squirrel?
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny. It's a funny saying, but hey, listen, man. People are angry on these chats, especially when Trudeau and Freeman spending our money stupidly. What do you think? You think we're happy with giving them? How much did he? 3 million or something?
Well, three billion. 3 billion. I know people aren't happy about that. Well, that's not so. Doesn't
you think
mean
Poilievre's going to do that? Poilievre's going to say, Poilievre's like Trump. You think Trump's going to do that? Give Ukraine any money? No. Anybody with 2 fucking boulders in his head will not do that. Okay?
Yeah.
This guy, Trudeau, you look in his ear, you see light on the other side. There's nothing there. He's controlled by somebody, right?
Yeah.
But that's our taxpayers' money. You can't give $2 billion of our money away just like that to some useless war, like Ritter says. Russia, you can't defeat Russia. They're going to win. They're not. You can't beat Russia. There's no way Ukraine's going to beat Russia. There's no way. And I believe that. And it's a useless war, but these guys, they want to keep throwing money. It's taxpayers' money they're throwing. Throw your own money. That's what I got to say.
Okay.
Throw your own money.
Yeah. I appreciate what
you I'm sorry.
I know you're getting all jacked up now.
I'm getting a little tight here.
Yeah.
That really
see, but back to the original point here. When it depends on how you're using that word or that phrase, the dirt. I didn't want to say it, Because do you know what the various meanings are for that? Do you know what it means? Do you know?
I have to look it up, but it's maybe digging a hole.
No. I mean,
it
it can mean a variety of things, but used in certain circumstances, it can be used as a negative way to describe maybe somebody of Middle Eastern descent. It can be, it's kind of like the equivalent almost of the N word. It can be also used sometimes to describe or to describe a woman. But it's another way of calling her an effing S blank blank UT. So that's what that means. So is that appropriate? Is that okay? Do you think you could say that at work? I don't think so. It's gross, man. It's just gross. So yeah, it's enough to get yourself banned.
I got shit. One company that I worked for, I used to tell jokes all the time. People told me Italian jokes.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't offend me. If I said a Jewish joke, I get called in the office. No more jokes. We don't want. I go. They were telling me Italian jokes. I can take
Mm-hmm.
it. You gotta have thick skin. But if you say a Jewish joke, oh my God, Rick, it's a sin. This is what the world. This is what we're facing with right now with the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Me, they call me Dago. They call me.
Well,
man, I've heard all the Italian jokes.
I know.
But
But that's not acceptable.
it.
That's not acceptable either, though. Here, John, I don't want people coming here and calling you those things, right? I don't want that. It's not.
I don't care.
Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but other people might, and it's not what this place needs to be. We need to aim higher. All right?
Well,
because I want to be able to
You're
bring
that people-
quality guests on. I want to be able to have quality conversations. I don't want it to be in the gutter all the time. And I have been open to different things.
You're gonna die quicker if you don't. You need a good laugh, Rick. Otherwise, you're gonna.
John, we do laugh here. We do laugh here.
All these
And
people, I used to work in some companies, man, and guys would walk around with their face down and you never see them smile. Never.
But I'm the one who sits here and talks about.
Are you one of those?
No. And quite the contrary. I'm the guy who sits here some nights and says, call in and tell me what you love about the country, so we can find out what people need to be proud of, so we can rebuild it. And then what do I get? I get a couple of people maybe call in with some positive things. Maybe they like maple syrup, or maybe they like canoeing, but then the next guy calls in, who, and then that's the guy who's all doom and gloom. That's not me. But I'll tell you this: I get blamed for everything here. I bring people on that I don't agree with, and whatever their point of view is, I get hammered on it. In fact, I was just told, again, I'm going to withhold names, but I had somebody on the show, and it triggered somebody, a big freedom leader, who told somebody else that I can't be trusted now because I had so-and-so on the show just because they were talking about a subject. Well, they said it, man, not me, but I'm held responsible for what they say, and I get held responsible for everything everybody says in the chat. I get held responsible for everything you're saying here on this call-in, and to some degree I should be held responsible because I'm responsible for the channel. I'm responsible for setting the standard, and I want a higher standard, damn it. Because people deserve it. You guys deserve it. You deserve a higher standard. Demand better. Let's not go down into the gutter. I said, okay, we can do the FU Fridays. We did it, 2 or 3 times? I think we did it twice, and then we did an FU Thursday or something, which was impromptu. And I get it. It was an opportunity to blow off some steam precisely because of what you're saying. People are upset. They're angry. So I thought, yeah, it can be a release valve for people. We can do it. And we tried it, but it became apparent to me very quickly that that was a race to the bottom, and we couldn't do that on a regular basis. Now, if somebody thinks that that's a great idea, you're welcome to go start a channel. If it's such a great idea and you think you're going to get zillions of followers, be my guest. Go start a YouTube channel, call it FU whatever, FUtube or whatever, I don't know, and you can do it over there, and then you'll get millions of viewers and get rich. Go ahead. There you go.
That's what I think of it.
That's right. But I mean, come on, man. Like
I don't. You start to sound like woke YouTube now, banning everybody for moderating. Remember you got banned so much when you talk about whatever, you know, like it's not free speech.
Oh, but it is, John. It is free speech.
Look,
and
Trudeau, did Trudeau call you? Did Trudeau call you back and say you better keep that show down because I don't like what they're saying about me? Okay, because that's why he's on the air. You played it the other night.
You want me? So you just want it to be a free for all, and people can just say whatever the hell they want, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
insult people, just get into the gutter and call everybody every racist thing, and just get vulgar, right? Make them just engage in language that's so sickening that it makes people want to puke. And I'm just supposed to sit here and listen to that? You just contradicted yourself. You just said earlier, which was quite correct, that if you tried that at work, you'd get fired. Well, it's the same thing here.
That's work. I'm not at work right now.
Yeah, you're not, but you're in my house, and this is our house, and that means that when people come here, you have to be respectful. If you don't it's my house, my rules, man.
I got nothing against that. I'm pretty good on the chats. I don't really. Sometimes my mouth goes too much.
You know the first. I do know what you're saying, John, but it's a stupid argument for people to make when they come here, and because they want to say whatever they want to say, but if they don't get to, then suddenly I'm anti-free speech. Just because of that. People want free speech for themselves, but they want to shut everybody else down. And the reality is, these people who are coming here, getting into the chat, and causing disruption and causing problems, they're not about free speech. They're about censoring the people that don't agree with them. I get it on both ends of the political spectrum here, man. It's like, we have free speech. Yeah, free speech for you until somebody disagrees with you, and then you want to shut them up by shouting at them or, dominating.
I have a solution for you.
Sure. I'm all open. Yep.
And you can even call Leo back and bring him back on. I got a solution. Look, another one. Lake, message was removed. There you go. Any swear words that are on these things, it gets removed automatically, just like the newspapers. You know the newspapers? If you say something that's damaging, like you just said, it's wiped out. It's gone. I read a lot of comments on the newspapers. Believe, the comments are more exciting than the newspaper article. Do you ever read the newspaper, Rick? Or do you just go on some...
Sometime, on a rare occasion, I'll buy the...
Ever read the comments on newspapers?
I have.
You ever read the comments on newspapers?
What about them? Yeah.
I think they're more interesting than the newspaper article themselves.
Yeah,
the article
can be.
Sometimes I'll laugh my brains out. Someone says something so idiotic, and I'm laughing my head off. Like, it makes you feel good.
Okay.
Right, Rick?
Sure.
We're here to feel good, right?
Yeah.
But the way you're doing, there's nothing wrong on here saying something funny, and people laugh at it. But I if you got
but John,
do that.
John, don't I know where that's coming from. Okay. Oh, I was just joking. Yeah, but sometimes these jokes are, that argument is just a bunch of bunk. All right. I know what was going on in there last night, and I was just joking. It was just a joke. Yeah, well, sometimes the jokes go too far too, and the jokes are just a way of masking or presenting really what someone's real intent is in a way that they can then just turn around and say, it's just a joke. Oh, really? Yeah, no, not really. I'm not stupid. Joke, fine. Want to make people laugh? Fine. But there's still a line. There's still a line. You know, it's like, and if you wanna make vulgar jokes, or you wanna, come in, because really what was going on there was malicious. It was designed to poke me, get a rise out of me. It was a clear message of disrespect, telling me that they weren't taking my request seriously at all, mocking the request, making it very clear that nothing was going to change. Because, damn it, nobody tells me what to do. Nobody tells me what to think. I know, I watched his video today when people told me he was talking about me. That's fine. I skimmed through it. I get it. Fine. But you know what? All through that video, if you're looking for the reasons that he got banned here, he's doing the same things on his own channel. Go ahead. You'll get followers. But I don't want them here, if that's the way it's going to be, because I'm not going to.
Well, they're going to come
doesn't
on
meet the
here.
standard.
Rick, they're going to come here. Watch.
Well, they can come.
I'm not putting anybody here. Listen.
Yeah.
The only people I know in these chats that I've met is Paul and Leo. That's it. That's the only two people I've ever met.
Yeah.
I like to meet more people.
Sure.
On these chats, there's a lot of good people on these chats.
Yes,
that
there are.
You got here.
And we need to make sure there's room for that.
But
I'll tell you this, though, John. I've got some people who are, regular viewers here, even contributors who had been here for, a year and a half, and they left, complained. They asked me to do something about it, so it's not fair to them. They won't come back until this is cleaned up. And I'm here. I'm listening to them, but they won't. They're not interested. They can't. There's no room in there for them anymore. And it's disgusting to them. So they're like, I don't want to be part of that. And honestly, I don't want to be associated with it. It reflects poorly on me. And it's not okay. I've been a journalist all my life. A professional journalist, meeting, a level, a standard.
Serious.
I'm very serious about what I do. I take this very serious.
You go to work, keep your head down, ass up, don't say a word, and at 5 o'clock you go home.
No, I do.
Got a job
No. I take it seriously because
that's what it was like at TTC.
Yeah, but that's not what it was like where I come from. I mean, I was locking horns at the assignment desks, and I was often at odds editorially with, my editors. I take what I do very seriously. I take truth very seriously. I always have. And there's a certain standard of ethics that I bring here, very high. And I will not compromise on it. I mean, I have allowed some entertainment and humor to, be exercised here, and that's all fine to a point. But this vulgarity, the insults, the attacks based on ethnicity or religion, it's not cool. It's not okay. It is not. Everybody's welcome here. And you can say, oh, now you're woke. Why? Because I want some people to not be allowed to come here? Is that what we're saying? That's not me. Is that you? Do you want me to ban other people or say that people with a certain skin color can't come here? Is that where we're at?
Well, Rick.
Is it?
Before I let you go, this. What? I'm sorry. I was watching the chats here. Kind of.
So I'm asking you. I mean,
most of the time I can multitask.
Is that where we're at? Because that's really what it is. It's like if you've got somebody calling somebody a bad name because of the color of their skin or their religion, then there's no room for that person here. And that's somebody else exercising their agency to ban someone. Arbitrarily, unilaterally, without the consent or the support of the community.
That ain't nice.
That's not nice.
That's not nice.
No, it's not.
Especially when you don't know the person,
No.
Like
that's preemptive
some people
banning.
are a real a-hole,
Look, man, I don't care if you're Muslim or if you're Christian, whatever.
I'm not racist, Dar. Sorry.
So it's cool.
Look. Leo calls me Johnny Gaza now.
Yeah.
I talk about Gaza all the time. It hurts me to see what's going on.
I know, John. I know. I get it.
Just got their blindfolders on.
I know.
Okay?
I appreciate your
and
perspective. I get
I'm
it.
not racist, Rick.
I know, John. I know what you mean. I know that's the other thing. I try to be tolerant of people, and even though honestly, I think sometimes you could be more careful about the way you choose your words. I know what the spirit of your comments is, and so I still appreciate you because I know that you do have a good heart. But you know,
one girl bought me a keychain.
One girl what?
One girl bought me a keychain. Foot in the mouth, because sometimes like you said, I say something that offends people, right? And so I forget what it says. A foot gathers foot in the mouth or something. I still have that keychain around somewhere, but I don't remember exactly what it is. But she bought it because of my mouth. Sometimes it goes off the wall, or just like you said, okay? And but Rick, all I can say is, like the saying goes, no, do not take life so seriously. Quite, because no one gets out alive. How's that saying go?
Yeah,
Don't
that's
take
right.
life seriously, because no one gets out alive.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
And
okay.
A good laugh is worth at least 100 days on your
I'll
life.
try to bring a little more levity to the show tomorrow night, okay? And
you're
I'll
a
take
funny
that to
guy,
heart.
though.
So that's right. And you just
Hey, listen, Rick.
Yeah.
You make us laugh
Good.
sometimes.
I'll do it tomorrow night.
But you don't run people down. I understand that. Well, you've run Trudeau down a few times.
Yes. Well. Yeah.
So you're not going to run Trudeau down no more, eh? I guess. You change your life now? Or?
No, there's a certain degree of fair game there. He's a public official. He's the prime minister. He's he's made himself the target. He has to be criticized, and he is, in my opinion, the worst prime minister in Canadian history. I keep saying it over and over again, but I hope that the local Liberal candidate from the riding of Durham still feels welcome enough to come here, even though that's my opinion of the prime minister. I'm still going to give the guy a fair shake, and he'll be treated with respect here. Even if Justin Trudeau showed up, I would still treat him with respect. And a lot of people wouldn't, but he would be treated with respect here if he wanted to engage in an interview. My opinion is he's still the worst prime minister in Canadian history. And I would tell him that, but in a respectful way.
Well, that's a proven fact, though. You're not just saying that because you don't like him.
It's demonstrable.
That's proven.
That's right. So, yeah. I mean, if people step over the line, if people are here with malicious intent, if people are here trying to honestly attack the channel, take the channel down, cause problems, stifle free speech by being disruptive in the chat, then they're going to get banned. That's just all there is to it, and I've tried to avoid it as much as possible, but some people are exploiting the opportunity to come in here and just do exactly what I just described. Not acceptable. Not going to do it. I owe it to all of you to do that.
But it seems like there's people online here, like you said, that want you gone, right?
Oh yeah.
Take your state. That's all you can do to them, right? Just exactly what you said.
I don't want to do it. I'd rather have them here and have them be part of this. But if they're going to come here, with their mouses clicking and clacking on their keyboards so that they can cause problems, if that's all they're doing, then that's not acceptable. You're gonzo. And that's where the experiment has taken us. I mean, I know that it was said, this isn't an experiment, this is my rights. Well, no, it is an experiment. Social media is still an experiment. Free speech itself remains something of an experiment, even within our society. We're still trying to figure it out. Even with, as technology progresses, whether it's the printing press or television, radio, at every step of technological advancement with communication, it has created, a whole new round of challenges, and we have to learn how to adapt free speech to these mediums, social media included. This is a brand new medium that we are engaged in. It is an experiment, and unfortunately, I've tried to make it as open as I possibly can, as free as I possibly can. But as you're seeing, some people just aren't mature enough to or responsible enough to use it properly. And as a result, they're actually stifling your free speech, John, by taking up time and causing problems and putting everything here in jeopardy. That's not right. And that's why any serious discussion on free speech also has to involve a discussion on what the limits to free speech need to be, what the community standard needs to be. And that means it is a free speech platform of the people, by the people, for the people, because it's all about the people. And that's what I said last night as well. With freedom comes personal responsibility. And some people interpreted that last night as me saying, you have to police each other. No, you have to police yourself. That means that you have to watch your mouth, be respectful, and determine where the community standard is and make sure that you meet that standard. You have to assess. And if you see somebody else in the chat, just as you would on the street, who says something really nasty, then it's up to you to decide, how are you going to respond? What kind of person are you going to be? What kind of human? Will you cower in fear and just go along with the bully who's leveling a malicious verbal attack against somebody, calling them an F and N thing or a this or a that, and let, that's not right. But if you want to be there, then that's a personal choice. Or you can say, no, I'm not going to participate in that. Or here's a really crude, lewd, rude joke that offends everybody. Let's laugh at this one. Well, if it is crude, lewd, and rude, and it is offensive, then maybe it's not appropriate to laugh. But it's up to people to make that determination and police themselves. I'm not asking people to police other people. Just make choices for yourself. If you can't do that, then maybe you've got a character flaw. Just as I have to make decisions. I've said that our country has lost its moral compass. It's absolutely true. The fact that I'm sitting here having this conversation right now is evidence of that. Without churches, without God to help guide people, people are lost. They think it's okay to do these things. It's not okay. There's a time and a place and there's a standard. And that's what I'm talking about. Get back to being respectful. And that's not wokeism. That's just common courtesy. Is that too much to ask?
Well, I'll watch my mouth, but I think we should all just watch what we say. Like you said, it's not just here. It's in the workplace, in shopping malls, whatever. You never know who you running down. You call someone a name they don't like. You don't know what they're carrying, right?
That's right.
I'm going downtown tomorrow. If someone calls me a name, I'm just gonna keep walking, and I'm not gonna call nobody a name, okay? Because you don't know what they're doing. You don't know these people are mentally ill down there. Yeah. Who knows? They can stab you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Rick?
Yeah. Well, there's that aspect to it too. Yeah.
Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. You can call me whatever you want. I've been called worse. Like.
Yeah.
People call me names all the time.
Well.
But.
I love you, John.
I
do, man.
A lot of people.
You're a good guy. You've become a good friend. We chat. We talk on the phone. Off the program sometimes, and I enjoy our conversations. You're my friend. That's why I don't. Leo's my friend too. I didn't want to do it. I really, really, really didn't want to do it. But do you know how painful that was? You know how hard that was for me to do? And, oh, you're just doing it for click. That's no way to build a channel, man. It's like banning people. No, that's not cool. Especially somebody that people look up to. I didn't want to do that. Like, honestly, it was so bad, John, that, I didn't even know if anybody would tune in tonight. I thought maybe I won't even have an audience because they'll all hate me so much. So that's a great strategy for building your channel. You just want clicks? No. No, it's not about the clicks. It's about doing what's right. And it had to be done. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it just had to be done.
No, I agree with you, Rick. I agree with you. That kind of talk depends. There's other ways to say it than vulgar.
Yeah,
right?
and it's worse than that, John, because you know what's happened? I'm going to be quite open, okay? Since that, the word spread, and then the some pretty nasty people out there have been making phone calls and online, and they've been talking about this. And I know what's been going on because I've already received some messages back, and I've had a couple of people say, that they do. I don't want to give away kind of who they are. Well, I had one of the mods say, I can't be a mod anymore. It's too much. Yeah, because they're being hassled now, harassed, simply because they're here on the channel. So they're receiving basically a lot of pressure, almost like threats, right? That's not cool. So, that's what I'm dealing with. And those people putting the pressure on, those are the ones who want me shut down. Well, go ahead then, I guess, if that's what you're about. But if those are the people that, people are following, imagine what kind of country we would have on the other side of that if those were the people in charge. You think censorship is bad now? I'm telling you, I've been dealing with some of these people, and it will be 1,000 times worse under them. So be very careful. This is an experiment, and what you're experiencing here right now is a micro version of society. And this, I can see very clearly, again, because I'm dealing with this, the darkness that would just consume this country and the people if we allow people who pretend to believe in free speech but really don't, because they're actively working to shut this channel down. If they really believed in free speech, would they be in the chat right now trying to take this thing down or cause problems? No. But they are. Right now. That's why they're getting their asses banned. And I'm not the one doing it. Because somebody's got some common sense over there, I suspect. If you believe in free speech, why are you trying to shut me up?
I believe you. I believe what you're saying right now. Mm-hmm. See? I kind of thought shit like that was happening here. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you deal with it.
It's not easy.
I would shut it down and...
Yep. And that's what I'm getting to. I'm getting it from multiple sides. Yeah, it's like, why don't you just quit, Rick? Why don't you, maybe it's time for you just to pack it in. With all this, maybe you just like take a break and just not do it for a while.
That's what, they win. If you do that, they win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
If you do that, they win.
Yeah.
And we lose, like you said.
Yeah, we all lose.
We're the ones who are going to lose.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Anyhow.
Yeah, I should move on. I've got other callers in the queue here, John, and I should move on.
Okay, Rick. Tomorrow I'll listen to your show when I get back, but I'm gonna miss the chats tomorrow. Okay, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good night, John.
Take care of yourself.
See you, man. Bye. Okay, go ahead. Who's on the air?
Hello.
Hello. Who's this?
Juicy. How you doing, Rick?
I am just fine, sir. Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm a little worn out also, but good move and good for you, and good for the channel. and good for everybody that's interested in therapeutic solution. Tough love is tough. It's tough for the person getting it. It's tough for the person that has to give it. It's work, but it's indicated. And like you said, the channel is a microcosm of society and the world. And it's ironic that the same people that would beef about the border and everything can't get the notion that we need positive contributors in the chat. You know, just like you would want at the border, you would want positive people to come into the country, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And you don't want inquisitorial actors coming across, right?
Yep.
So why don't we just become what we want?
Yes, instead of becoming
Simple
what
enough.
the other people want us to become. That's really what I've been witnessing in the last, especially year. You know, the government has been accusing people in, you know, certain freedom groups in particular of being white supremacists and neo-Nazis and this and that. And I've always been sitting here saying, I don't see it. I don't get it. I don't think so. Right. But then,
right.
Then just, you know, especially after October 7th, but even leading up to that, I was seeing this progression of people just, I think, unwittingly adopt language and ideas that are turning them into the very thing that the government was accusing them of being. And I don't think people even realize it, right? It's like, it's not cool.
It's brainwashing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we need to snap out of. And, you know, people think that that's just, you know, a word or whatever, brainwashing, but it's serious business. I, you know, in hindsight, man, I don't have time to write a book to explain all the brainwashing I've seen.
Yeah.
But we're going to get through this. We don't have a choice about it. You know, we've thought it through. There's only one positive, logical way forward, and we need to make that happen. We're the adults in the room, and we don't. It's not just a matter of wanting the torch handed to us. It's not a matter of, oh, the old guard doesn't want to hand us the torch. Mm-hmm. It's that the torch is fascist, and we don't want that torch.
That's right.
We don't want. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Choosy, you know, some of the information and ideas and ideology and so on that you bring us is complicated, and a lot of people don't understand. But I'll tell you, I've come to realize that you are one of the wisest people that we have in the family here.
Takes one to know one, Rick, and I really appreciate you, and you really amazed me and ended up making my weekend, as hard as it was, as much work as it was for everybody. You've done the right thing, and I'm hopeful that this might be the week that we can really be proud. I feel like we have one foot in the after party. Remember that peaceful revolution is really just a matter of words and celebration and the truth being divulged and the punishment being metered out therapeutically so we don't have more images of abuse.
I appreciate your words. Again, more wisdom, and thank you.
I appreciate the chance, Rick. You've been, you know, true gold, and I hope everybody appreciates how valuable you are and how brave you've been, how much hard work and time you've put into this persistently, and they will contribute and buy up those shirts. And if you're going to buy those Exile the Knights of Malta shirts, wear them responsibly, and explain to people why you're less miserable since you understand. Okay?
Thank you, Choosy. Thank you.
Everybody, I love you. Thanks.
Love you
Talk
too.
to you soon.
Okay. Take care. Okay, who do we have on the line now?
This is Rich. How are you?
I'm just fine. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since I've called in.
Yeah, where are you calling from again?
And what's that?
What city are you calling from?
I'm calling from the States.
Yeah, someplace. I see the area code. I just wondered, what city? Because I think I was kind of targeting New York tonight. But anyway.
No, I'm not in New York.
No, I know. Yeah, just curious. Just
anyway,
where you were. But anyway, go ahead. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I just, Choosy just, man, did a great job on, I was just calling in to encourage you. I've done that in the past. I never, really feel like I've got a whole lot to offer, as far as, all I can offer is my observations and responses and encouragement really is what I call for. I think that with the current happenings that we've seen over the past couple of nights, I wasn't around to see the incident that created all of this, but the show that you last night when you were talking about everything. I think that you, in my opinion, and the reason why I listen to you, I'm not going to say every night, but I listen
90
just about every
seconds.
night. And you're one of the few people that I do even listen to as far as the news goes anymore, because I have seen your heart in the past.
Thank you. I should also say that this new phone-in system is going to cut you off in 60 seconds, unfortunately, and I don't have any control over it.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I apologize for rambling on and not getting to a point. I think that what you're doing and the way that you have handled your channel is a great thing, and there's great possibilities for what can happen in the future. If people were to come into somebody's house and act the way that people do in your channel, they would have a problem with that, and they would want to be able to handle things in a matter of that needed to be handled. So I encourage you to hang in there. I appreciate you for what you do and how you do things, and I just thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate the call and the support. Thank you.
Take care, man.
All right.
Bye-bye.
And that wraps up that call. And yeah, this system runs a little bit differently. So
10
got
seconds.
in just under the wire with that, which worked out great. Let me just pull this down. Yeah, that system has to be reset after a certain amount of time. I should have set it for a longer duration. I didn't think the chat or the call-in portion would go as long as it did tonight, honestly. But it did, and that's a good thing. It's I appreciate everybody calling in and participating that way. And it was a good conversation. So I'm glad that we had it. And it can continue even tomorrow night. I'll be back 6 p.m. Eastern on the flip side. See you then.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.